Estas son las mañanitas que cantaba el rey David. Las noches mías mis campanas, su seno de la esquina me quisiera ser favor de apagar su Despierta, despierta, mírate de amanecer. Ya los pájaros.
Feliz cumpleaños! Just last week at St. Ignatius, we celebrated the birthdays of two very special people in our hearts, of a father and a son. The son loves to play soccer and the father loves to watch it. They unwrap gifts from friends and family. They share chocolate cake, laughs, smiles, gratitude. They celebrate just as anyone else would on their birthday. They, alongside the rest, are grateful, hopeful, and cheerful, proud of their newfound lives. In this split moment, everything is perfect. They don't have to fear deportation, file for working papers, find future asylum, or struggle in America against loss of language, family, and culture. Above the dangers they would have endured in their homes and the dangers they continue to face today in America, at least they are together, surrounded by people who they love and love them. At the Church of St. Ignatius Loyola's Migrant Accompaniment Committee, we aim to support migrant families in their journey to improve their English language skills, held on Sunday afternoons from 12 to 2 in the accessible Wallace Hall beneath the church. Tailored for children aged 5 to 14, our initiative offers a diverse range of activities and services to facilitate language learning and community engagement. Through the incorporation of familiar songs like Heads, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes, arts projects, and classic games such as Simon Says, we strive to create a welcoming environment where children can play and learn. In addition to spoken language skills, our program also emphasizes the importance of literacy by providing tailored support in reading and writing. As part of our collaborative efforts, we've expanded the initiative with volunteers from Dominican Academy, fostering a supportive environment where all can develop new skills and build friendships. In addition to our interactive sessions for children, we also host conversation circles for parents. These gatherings provide parents with opportunities for language practice and community building. Beyond language learning, our program aims to support to parents in navigating legal skills and translation services, recognizing the unique challenges faced by migrant communities. By offering access to essential resources and fostering a sense of belonging, we hope to empower families to thrive in their new homes. Having completed the over 11 sessions of the spring semester, bringing together 8 migrant families and over 30 Regis and DA volunteers, let's explore how the work we've done has impacted immigration in New York City within the HACK framework, mainly humanizing the problem. In this interview, we will hear perspectives from Dolores Quinn, a parishioner, volunteer, and leader, and me, David Solano, the Regis coordinator for the St. Ignatius of Loyola Migrant Initiative. So this podcast interview is meant to focus on humanizing immigration and on seeing them as just like us, trying to find a home, trying to get a better future for their own families. And I guess for the first question is, what does humanizing immigration mean to you?
These are wonderful people who all they want is a chance. My husband always says, he won the lottery when he was born. He was born in the United States. He was born to a family that was able, and he was able to go to school, and, he was white. Other people really, they're just looking for a better life, just like my relatives who came before me, because once you see the faces, you can never not see them. I always say, they're my people now. The people I met, they're in my heart.
I guess that point about
really that your husband made about the lottery of birth, how a lot of people's entry into the United States is determined by their own nationalities. With recently Biden's transit ban, forcing the migrants to ask for asylum in every country that they pass
Right.
to the United States. And I guess that whole point of being so fortunate to be in this spot, to be in the country. Like speaking from my own experiences, both of my parents, they were born in Mexico. They lived in Mexico since they were like until they were like 35, and then they were very fortunate because we were very fortunate that we were able to move originally to Arizona, but now to New York through my dad's work. Really, there was no complications. Just the main thing was just getting the citizenship and the green card. We had the sponsor. It was a lot easier for us than it is for a lot of these migrants that they don't know anyone here in the United States. They don't have any points of contacts. They don't have sponsors. They don't have enough money. They don't really have any security coming into this country. And really, just their main focus is um, just helping pushing their families forwards. Definitely essential for us to see them as just like us, just trying to get their families ahead, trying to support them in however way they can, and find safety and refuge for them. And it's unfortunate a lot of these situations that they are put through. Why is humanizing important? Why do you think humanizing is important?
Well, first off, as my faith calls me to be someone who serves, someone who helps. And I mean, we can look through history to see what happens when we fail to humanize people.
Mhm.
We see Holocaust, we see wars. I mean, we can see present day people. They're just numbers of people who die in bombings and things like that. And to me, when you stop humanizing people is, and that's my big fear at the moment, is that, you know, we're just throwing numbers around, throwing people around, and there's no face to those people. And so when we fail to humanize, I think our world is is a very bad place. And so that's why whatever we can do in our, you know, that there are thousands, I think what the last I heard where there were 200,000 migrants to New York City. You know, we can't help every one of those migrants, but at least we can help some. And so to give them the opportunity, to your point, David, you know, they come without any connection necessarily, without the language for sure, without a job. So how can we help and support them? And that's what we do in our small way to make sure that they see that human connection, that they aren't those faceless, massive people or a number. Um, so that's why I think it's important. I mean, I just see every day in the paper all the ways that we dehumanize. And so your project, the work at St. Ignatius Loyola and, you know, Kino and all those places, they just keep reminding us. They bring us back to our humanity, to our religious beliefs of what we should be doing. You know, living our faith is what we should be doing.
That whole idea of like living our faith, I think that places migration as an issue really deep in like Catholic social teaching. How we're all called because you can see the issue of immigration as obviously like a political issue, but I think it's more and more so important to see it as a humanitarian issue. They're trying to escape either gang violence or family estrangement. They're trying to find jobs, trying to find work opportunities, better future for their kids, accompanying these migrants and providing them these services, really providing them this home for their kids to learn, also just to meet other families and to find any services that they may need. That's a very peaceful approach at addressing this whole issue of immigration.
As I said, we try to do with our little piece of the world or a little piece of New York City, we try to do, and the Regis program as well. I mean, has been unbelievably successful, I think.
This issue has been handled in many different ways in our history, and I guess also speaks to the fact that it's always going to be an issue. That it's really something that cannot be solved in a big way, where there's always going to be people that are going to want to have a better future. There's always going to be that dream, that American dream, that is set at the forefront of many immigrant households. And I think that speaks a lot to really just trying to do as much as we can with our own part, like in our own small bit in.
I can do what I can do, and I do it gladly. And if you think about the huge problem, I mean, I can't affect change that way. I can to some degree by advocacy and things like that, but I can affect change for these 8 families, and anybody who comes along their path and is, helped by the program. Having moved to St. Ignatius and having been steeped in the Jesuit way has really renewed my faith, my husband's faith. I've been a Catholic my whole life. I've been in a different parish for 40 years, and I can honestly say that this parish motivates people, me particularly, to live our faith. Getting back to that answer, so I'm very happy to be related to the Jesuits.
Yeah. Thank you. So for the third question, speaking more specifically on the program itself,
Mhm.
how has the program impacted the lives of the children and parents involved, with any specific stories?
And one of the things I think our families definitely could use, having been like tossed out of their home, they're not in any way with any social group that they would be familiar with. We created a community in St. Ignatius for them to be um, just kids, just a family, just coming together and meeting other people in a regular social situation that for probably many of them has been non-existent for months, if not years. And to see the joy on the children's faces, and I'm thinking of Dylan. Dylan, he needed about 3 Regis students to stay with him, to keep him occupied and entertained and engaged. But to see him just being a kid, I think was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And also listening to your the other students from Regis who really learned, I think, a lot about how you work with children, how you talk to people, how you talk to adults. Here I am, I'm trying to teach something, what do you want to learn? And to really engage them and have this two-way communication. And hopefully the Regis students learned a little more Spanish. I learned a poquito Spanish. But it was wonderful. And I mean, I think to myself, you, for example, David, being able to translate on some sticky issues around asylum and filing paperwork, I think was critical to help the program go. I mean, it just had an opportunity for the students and the families to develop relationships, which I think were very, very excellent, because from those trusting relationships, they could tell you about what they needed, to write down on their forms, or how you could help Jim, our attorney, who was going to help them navigate things like that. But I think one of the funniest, not funniest, but the things that I as a teacher just loved to see was when we were doing the project on body parts, and we traced the body parts, and then everybody was like assigned to a student and to a child, and just having the fun and back and forth about naming the body parts when they were drawing it on the on the paper that we had traced their body part. And there was a lot of engagement, there was a lot of fun, and as I said, how many opportunities do these families have to just be families, be kids, relax, share a meal. And I thought it was very poignant. I enjoyed watching them, and my particular favorite was when everybody stepped up to do the hokey pokey, and learn all the songs that we got into the groove of doing. And I think the important thing was the relationship, and just letting everybody be in a community where they could feel safe and appreciated, and enjoy themselves.
Yeah, I think that was a very beautiful way to put it. Just trying to make them feel as kids and trying to give those outlets of also learning, but also like physical activity, dancing, singing, communication, finding friends. I think as a personal anecdote, one of my favorite experiences, I think, within the program, it's probably, I mean, there's so many, all the kids are such nice people, like Santiago or Antonella.
Mm,
I remember making bracelets with Antonella and some girls from DA
mm.
and really trying to have those conversations, trying to find ways to put in English and however we could. It's kind of surprising how some of these kids coming into this country um, don't really have a positive outlook on the English language. Like,
Well, I would think, just knowing from the experience of some of the students that we worked with, the families, they traveled from Venezuela, from mostly Venezuela, Ecuador, and they traveled a lot during COVID. So, and plus in traveling, they weren't even able to go to school. So for some of our families, they've missed a good couple of years of school. So that in of itself is problematic because they literally did not sit in a seat to attend school. And then it was fortunate for us because in St. Ignatius, we were able to find some ESL teachers, retired, who really also taught us, about language acquisition and how, there's that time when students are silent, and that it doesn't mean they're not learning. It just means that they're not comfortable enough or have a facility enough to speak. And I can certainly speak to that as I'm trying on day 910 of Duolingo, how challenging it is to learn a language. And I think one of the things that I appreciated about the Regis students and the Dominican Academy students is that the incredible patience that everybody had, and nobody was losing their, like, how are they going to learn, or even, just playing with the Dylans of the world who were hard to keep in their seat. The patience to just stick with it. They learned and they had fun, and they developed a sense of community. So I think it was all worthwhile and all wonderful.
and I think that whole idea of the point that you made, that a lot of these students are having missed school a lot, and on top of that, the whole traumatic part of
100%.
immigration, that whole process, leaving your family behind, leaving your homes behind. I mean, I remember like the very first day that the Regis volunteers came and helped and we started the program. I sat down with one of the fathers of the program and he just walked me through his whole story with how he had mentioned that like his cousin had been kidnapped and had been asked to be part of a gang, and he didn't want that future for his kids or his family.
Yeah.
So they try to find any way to get into America, to get into this country, and try to get a better future. Um, so yeah, I would say that alongside just not being with their family, with their culture, and all everything that they hear, all the difficulties that they hear at home, that definitely could disincentivize learning English and adopting this whole new way of life. And really, as you mentioned, anything that we can do to make them feel more comfortable to these 8 families, we're doing a lot. So for the next question, um, what feedback have we received from the program so far from any participants or parishioners?
Well, I think we touched on a lot of the points already, is that the families are appreciative of the help specifically to specific families, whether it was helping them with some process, getting them signed up for a school, learning, doing a little bit of homework. It's just, to me, it was very effective because it just helped make bonds between the families and things like that. But it's a process, and they really stepped up to the plate, the Regis students, and I was so happy to see them making these connections with families, and they showed up every single week, which was wonderful. I have to admire their stick-to-itness.
I think also like the end of the year, like culminative celebration that we had, the birthday parties
Mhm.
we had for, and also just showing that bond that a lot of those students made with the kids. I really found it so surprising that a lot of these kids did remember our names and whatnot. Like I remember coming in like in a weekend and just not like trying to remember this kid's name, but even he was telling me David, David, David. It,
I-
it, it's really surprising and um honestly uplifting, seeing how much we become a part of their lives, how much we mean to them for the kids, and how they're really remembering everything that we've done with them. And as you said, um, just having these conversations, just having these moments of English learning, even if small, they're still making a difference. They're still listening and they're still gaining those habits.
Yeah, no, they, in fact, Antonella's family and Sophia and Santiago's family, they come from Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn. They come every week. We've created something that draws them back. And as I said, I think our superpower here in St. Ignatius is that community building of they're part of something. They might have lost their community at home, but they are developing a community here in New York City of people who care for them. They care for us, we care for them. And so it's powerful and extremely, extremely gratifying. We're hoping that we have some new families that come and maintain some of our old families so that we have a good group starting in the fall again. I know they look forward to being there. Even the maintenance people at St. Ignatius, they're like, but I see them at Mass. They're like, when are you coming back? Even they enjoyed it.
I would say it's that whole idea of like pivoting, to the family's needs. I remember on the last day, we made like the announcement that even if the formal semester would be ending, there would still always be that point of contact. You could always like reach out to the parish if a lot of them were still working out, getting papers for work or trying to find different asylum or reasons for asylum, and that whole support system that we've built up in St. Ignatius has allowed them to find us as a point of contact, as people that they can count on and rely on, and as friends in this difficult process.
Right, and we all are like assigned to WhatsApp, so they're never far away. In fact, I laugh. We were having dinner in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and the phone rang, and it was a WhatsApp, and it was relating to one of our families. So we had to leave this very noisy place, came out, but to have somebody to be connected with in a city that you don't know, with a language you don't know, with a system you don't know, is just it's very powerful and very rewarding actually, to be able to say, yay, we got them, they helped them to the little shop of kindness. We got, we're able to go and they got some clothes. In fact, the one little Aitana, she picked up her first pair of walking shoes. She's just one and she got her shoes from the little shop of kindness. So very rewarding, as I'm sure you know.
And for that last point of how very rewarding it is, for the last question, how has this program impacted you?
Well, I'm going to circle back to what I said at the beginning. It allows me an opportunity to live my faith, um, to be in a place where I can hear what the priest says and the sermon, and that I can actually go out and do that. I'm fortunate to be in a place that I'm retired and I have some time to be able to devote to this. My children are grown, so I feel fortunate that I'm able to do that. And it sounds trite, that idea of giving back, because I have been blessed. And I'll go back to the beginning, I won the lottery too, as well as my husband. And so it's really a privilege for me and my husband to be able to, and the people of St. Ignatius to give back for all the blessings that we've received in our life, and pass it, pay it forward, do all those different things that whatever you want to call it. But I find it incredibly rewarding. And you know, my husband always quotes Matthew 25. That's what we should be doing. And so we're in a good place. And certainly St. Ignatius has given us an opportunity to be able to live our faith that way. And I'm very blessed. And more so, even and blessed to have met all of the Regis students, the Dominican Academy students. I will say this, that as a educator, they always talk about all the time about the new generation, the young generation. They're very self-centered. They're very, you know, into their own thing. And I will say that this experience has given me hope for the future, because I see so many dedicated students, young people who are looking to do good things. You know, they're not looking to you know, get the corner office or do whatever, that they're really trying to make the world a better place. And I can't think of anything that's more uplifting and joyful than that. So thank you.
Thank you. I would say for me, really just also going back to the beginning, that whole idea of having this lottery of birth, of being so fortunate in our positions, and to use that privilege that we've been given by God to, you know, help in however way we can. And just seeing the kids' faces and making those relationships and talking with the parents and the families and having those celebrations, like those moments, or in every session doing like the heads, shoulders, knees, and toes, singing together, all those different moments just culminate into gratitude and into a sense of joy, really making these friendships with the families, and thinking that in the little way that we are doing, that we're making a difference to these 8 families, to their lives, to the kids, to the parents. And so thank you so much, Dolores, for your time. It's been a great few weeks, great few months being with you guys, and thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.